One of the biggest things you can do to sound like Tom Holland, and it's not an easy thing, is that you can use a lot of intonation in how you speak.
Yeah, I think that was probably the most daunting part of taking on this character. So as a joke, I suggested to Marvel that I should go to a high school undercover.
When Tom Holland speaks, he's kind of like he's singing. He kind of goes up and down, and he pauses, and his pauses actually add a lot of meaning and depth to the sentence.
It was great, man. You know, I mean, I've always dreamed of being Spider-Man since I was a little kid.
His dad is a stand-up comedian.
Ericsson's here. Nokia's hands-free now, clearly.
He was taught from a young age how to present and how to time his words. Can we just put on like 10 minutes of clips of Tom Holland, or do we actually have to? Okay. Hi guys, welcome to this video. My name's Mike. I teach English and Arabic on YouTube. Today, we're going to be spending this video looking at Tom Holland's accent, his mannerisms, talking about how much of a great guy he is. I love him, the world loves him, and I really hope you get something out of this, find it interesting, or if you just love Tom, just watch it and enjoy it. Now the first thing you got to do if you want to sound like Tom Holland is you got to speak with a British accent. Now Tom Holland, I'm not talking about the Peter Parker High School Queens kid, I'm talking about Tom Holland from Southwest London, Kingston, who says things like, well yeah, they wanted me to audition for Billy Elliot, so I was like, alright, fair dues.
He was like, we wanted to audition for Billy Elliot, and I was like, oh, fair dues.
Like, when he was a kid, he actually had a really strong Cockney accent. Now as he's grown up, I mean when he was like 12, 13, 14, he was singing and speaking with a Geordie accent.
I can't really explain it. I haven't got the words. It's a feeling that you can't control.
Billy Elliot is set in County Durham, where they have like the Newcastle accent, basically, Geordie accent. And then of course he was in films, he's in movies, he's been doing the American accent in Spider-Man.
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
And between you and me, I think Tom Holland might have kind of forgotten what his accent is. I'm not going to go deep into the British accent and how to speak with a British accent. You can spend like years and years literally studying every day how to speak with a British accent, and the other thing is there's so many different accents within the UK, it can get really, really complicated and very esoteric and very niche, and I just want to share with you some very quick examples. So if you're, for example, learning English and you're learning it the American way, take these four words here: turn, learn, farm, yarn. Notice how when I say them, I'm not pronouncing the R in the middle of the letter. Turn, learn, farm, yarn. Now an American saying these would say something like turn, learn, farm, yarn. They would pronounce the R in the middle of the word. As a British speaker, British English speaker, you don't pronounce that R in the middle of the word. You just say turn, learn, farm, yarn. Again, similarly, at the end of the word, if you have a word like better, an American would say better. So there's two differences there. They would pronounce the T as a D, and they would pronounce the R at the end of the word. Whereas in England, we don't pronounce the R when it's at the end of a word. We would say better, harder, faster, stronger. We just end it in a like sound. Whereas an American would say harder, better, faster, stronger. So they'd pronounce the R at the end of the word. He says things like Michael, as opposed to Michael. And I think this is why Tom's accent is so popular. It's kind of that Cockney accent, but at the same time, it's kind of quite a formal Cockney accent. It's not like, he's not like trying to like some geezer on a street corner trying to sell you some watch from his jacket or something. He's just kind of like, he's speaking quite well, but it's like they've got a very subtle Cockney slang in there. I'm not even sure if Tom's aware of this, but of course, as he's like gone through life, he's only 22, right? He's been acting pretty much his whole life. He was on stage at 12 in Billy Elliot, and he was doing a Geordie accent for that. And then he goes to America and he's Peter Parker in Spider-Man, and he's in movies, he's shooting films. By the way, he does say movie.
auditioning for this movie was incredibly pressurizing because I wasn't just auditioning in front of the producers, I was auditioning in front of the whole world.
That's an American slang, but he's picked that up, and that's kind of an example of the thing I'm about to talk about, which is how his accent has become less British, less London, less Cockney, and more kind of international English. Look at the way that Tom himself doesn't quite know how to say Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, on my last audition, I was told to stay in Atlanta. I then left Atlanta after 2 weeks because I was like, well, I obviously haven't got it. Is that your water or is that my water?
That's your water.
Okay.
It was like rugby meets basketball meets UFC fighting.
Let's just put it that way. It was literally the worst 3 days of my life.
As someone who's kind of grown up speaking so many different accents and has been a voice actor, he's been on stage, he's been in different films, he's interviewing in the States, he's trying to use language appropriate words over there so that the Americans aren't going, who the hell is this guy? I don't understand what he's saying. He has to be very careful about the words he uses. So, you know, Tom Holland's accent is actually complicated, it's evolving, and it does change day to day. Like on his Instagram, if you watch his Instagram videos and his Instagram stories, he sounds a lot more London.
Oh, mate.
That was sick!
I am so excited, and I've been trying to keep this a secret for so long, and I now just can't. I can't do it anymore.
So I think one of the reasons why people love Tom Holland, you know, is that he's just such a down-to-earth guy, you know, like, and he has these characteristics that he uses when he speaks. So he says, for example, you know, quite a lot at the end of each sentence. You know, he's looking for that kind of affirmation and agreement, and it lets the audience and whoever's listening to him kind of feel like they're part of it, you know?
You know when you revise for an exam and you feel like you crushed it, but the longer you wait for the results, the more you think you kind of...
He's British, by the way.
Ruined it.
Robert's great, you know. It's really fun to work with him, and he came at the perfect time. We were making the movie, and, you know, it's hard. You work 15 hours every day, and he came and brought, like, a whole new burst of energy, you know. You know, I think the best advice probably came from my dad, you know.
Tom has a slightly higher voice than most people, and I would say I probably do as well. I'm kind of speaking a little bit higher than I normally would right now to kind of imitate Tom Holland, but he definitely has a high voice. So if you were trying to replicate like the way that Tom Holland speaks, then just choose from where you would normally speak. I'd normally speak about down here, but maybe just go like a couple of tones higher, and you'll notice that Tom Holland's actually got a pretty high voice.
No, they don't give anyone the script.
I did read the script, yeah.
Did you?
Yes. Of course, they're not going to give you the script. But
When he's in conversation with like another guy with like a much deeper voice, sometimes you will pick up on the fact that he has quite a high voice. Tom does a lot of hesitation when he talks, you know, and he kind of, it's quite an endearing thing when you're particularly in the British kind of dialect and the style of the British accent, is to kind of, you know, pause and make noises with your mouth and just kind of reflect on what you're about to say before you actually say it. And Tom does this quite a lot.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy process for me because Civil War was such a rushed, you know, movie for me because I literally was cast, came in, did 2 weeks, and then left.
Tom does this thing where he accidentally says a swear word when he shouldn't, and then gets really apologetic.
I literally like ate shit. Sorry, Sony. I fell over.
Oh, okay, here we go. Is this licorice? Is that what you call this? Is this the English one? Man, that's fucking... Oh, that's disgusting.
I kind of thought that maybe people would take the piss a little bit and mess around. Sorry. I have strict instructions not to swear, but I'm from England, it's what I do. It's what we do.
His voice is constantly changing pitch, and it kind of goes up at the end, and it kind of leaves you wanting more, because when you go up at the end, you know there's more coming.
I was kind of planning to move out here to LA, but now I'm only just moving 5 minutes away from my mum.
Were you there when I threw water on Sam when he was sleeping?
Tom Holland is a fantastic storyteller. If you want to sound like Tom Holland, you need to learn how to tell a story. I mean, this guy can make people laugh. He's like a natural comedian. He's always got a smile on his face, doesn't take life too seriously, is always joking about. And that's, I think, why he's got 15 million followers on Instagram and is just an amazing guy, and the world loves him.
And then my little brother Paddy goes, "Who's Madonna?"
He's really an amazing guy. I really like him, big fan. And if you're watching, hello, love you. Okay, enough of that. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can see more videos up there and over there, and you can subscribe to this channel just there. Click the subscribe button to see more videos like this, and I hope to see you again back on my channel very soon. Until next time, see you later. Bye-bye. It's like that there's some music playing in your ear.